What's up everybody, this is Abel Madrid, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of photoshopping. I asked on my Instagram what kind of content you guys would like to see, and a few people said Photoshop. Nobody was really specific on what they wanted to learn on Photoshop. So what I'm gonna do here, I have this picture right here, so we're gonna just dive right in. I decided to do something that a lot of people might be doing more of, which is portraits. Maybe you guys do photos for friends, or maybe some artists, or you're trying to get into portraits. So what I'm gonna start doing is, I didn't want to throw anybody under the bus, anybody that I knew. So I just pulled this image of Mila Kunis, the beautiful Mila Kunis, Mila Kunis, and we're just gonna, it's a raw image, it's an image of her, it looks like at a red carpet. It's not the highest res image, but I think it's gonna give you an idea of my process to retouching an image, airbrushing, and a little bit of frequency separation. And all of this might sound kind of crazy, but at the end of but it's super simple. It's actually very simple. So yeah, let's start here. So I'm just gonna walk you guys through my process. I'm just gonna walk you through my process step by step. I guess so. If you see this image, obviously I did not take this image. This image I just got online. Whoever owns the rights to it, sorry if I'm using it without your permission, but it was actually it was very hard to find an artist or a celebrity unretouched image. So first things first, I'm already seeing her face. I mean, she looks great already. She looks beautiful. It's human. There's no, I wouldn't say imperfections, but there are stuff here and there that we can clean up to make it look a little bit nicer. And little by little, I'm gonna try to teach you the tools, each tool, and what each tool does. Again, I'm gonna do this real fast because I don't want this video to be 2-3 hours long. But if you really wanted to like really get it down to the T, and you really wanted to get a good retouch, you might be sitting here for a couple, an hour or two, just getting very detailed, right? So I'm just gonna do this real quick. Okay, so first things first, we open up our image in Photoshop, just drag and drop into Photoshop. We're gonna zoom in right here to her face because that's where it's gonna need most of the work. We're going to we're gonna go use this, and if you hover over every tool right here, it actually gives you a little, like if you're new to Photoshop, it'll give you like a little tutorial of how to use it. So we're gonna use the spot healing tool, the hot spot healing brush tool, and keyboard shortcuts. The left bracket is a keyboard shortcut to make it bigger and smaller, bigger and smaller. Okay, so what I'm gonna do with this tool is I'm literally just gonna go right here. I don't want to be too big because it's gonna make a huge difference. So like if I'm too big, it makes it spotty, it makes it noticeable. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna stay small and just kind of just click on this, on all the little imperfections, every little imperfection that you can see. It's pretty simple. We're just getting rid of all the little blemishes. We don't want to see all these little blemishes. So like this right here, this right here. And you know what helps me a lot is to stay in one general area, like this whole area right here. Just stay here and work on that, and for a little while, all these little hairs that we don't want to see. And of course, this is the boring part. This is the part where you stare at this image so long that sometimes you will you forget, you start not seeing blemishes, and maybe you gotta look away. Maybe just look away, take a drink or something. Take a drink and then go back into your image, because then you'll see the blemishes again. This right here is basically the heart of retouching, because you could technically already get away with, if you just do this, the spot healing tool, you can technically already get away with an image. Like it already looks 10 times better. Kind of match. What you could do is if you hold the left button, right, the select button on your mouse, and you hold it, more options come out. So you have all these cool options: content aware move, patch tool, healing brush, red eye, all that kind of stuff. We're gonna use the patch tool. So basically you just select it, drag over to where you want to take the texture from or whatever, and then you let go and it'll replace it. Also Command D is keyboard shortcut to deselect. Okay, so let's go back down. I'm gonna go back to my brush tool, to my spot healing tool, brush tool. You see this hair right here? We're gonna get rid of it. And this one's pretty simple. Really just make your before. This is the after. Before, after, before, after. Before, after. With that just alone, you're already pretty much, you know, 50 to 70% almost done. So another thing that you want to do, that you could do, is basically do this what is called a frequency separation, right? So we're gonna call this layer smooth, and this layer T for texture, right? So we're gonna basically separate the texture from the image, so that when we retouch this, you still have texture on the face. Because a lot of times you'll see a lot of retouched images and they're airbrushed, but they're very smooth and have no texture in their face, and that is not natural and it looks fake, and you can tell right away, oh, that was an airbrush, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna separate the texture. We're gonna do a Gaussian blur, and we don't want it that blurry. We want it to where you can barely see her face. So like that's already looking good, okay? So it's gonna vary depending on the images that you're using. If it's high res, you're probably gonna have to blur a little bit more, and if it's lower res, you're probably gonna have to blur a little less. But you play with it. This looks pretty good where you can barely see the facial features and stuff like that. So we're gonna leave that there. And then on this one, on the T, we're gonna go to image, apply image, and we're gonna grab the S layer S. We're gonna do, instead of the blending mode, we're gonna do subtract opacity to 128. This stays the same right here, so just keep that the same. You don't want to touch that. Boom. And we're going to go to linear light. So if you see, nothing really changes. There's nothing really, literally nothing changes, right? But now what we're gonna do with this layer right here, okay, so we're gonna play with the S, and the reason we're gonna play with the S is because that softness is blurred. I call it softness. You could label it B if you want for blur. So we're gonna go to our lasso tool. Lasso. I'm gonna select this entire area of her forehead, whatever you want to be smooth, and not smooth because it's not smoothing it. It's just the color is just changing the color. So boom, that's that right there. We're gonna do like maybe 20, a feather of like 18, a feather of 18, and now we're gonna go into our blur, Gaussian blur. And we're gonna, that was changing color right there. Do like a 9. Okay, and boom. So there you go. And just to give you an idea of what that's supposed to look like. So check it out. You see, it's smoothing out the skin. It's smoothing out the skin and the texture of her skin. So, but it left texture, as you can see. It still has texture. You still have texture there. So we're gonna do that to her cheeks as well. We're gonna do that to her chin. We're gonna do all of that. And again, that's on the S. Basically, this is how you're gonna do it. And of course, you can take your time and you're gonna, you know, refine that feather perfectly. I'm just doing this just for sake of this tutorial. So basically that's what we look like now, and it looks natural. She looks beautiful. There's nothing crazy. She doesn't have crazy insane, you know, we didn't change much on her, and she's already looking really good. Look, so that was the before, right? So if you look at the close-up, wow, this looks, you know, it's a little rough, you know, there's little areas right here, but then we turn it on and now that's what she looks like. Look, she looks like that. So now we can take this a step further too. We're gonna group this group, we're gonna duplicate it by Command J will duplicate, and then we're going to merge everything together. That whole group, we're gonna move it together. We're gonna merge it together. Command E merges, right? We'll turn this one off. And then right here, we're gonna duplicate this twice again. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna do soft and D for detail, right? So that's the detail. We're gonna have that detail right here and then softness up here. So what we're gonna do is we're going to take this one off. We're gonna add a surface blur. So this is probably what you see on Instagram most of the time. You see how her skin looks? It doesn't look real. It kind of looks cartoony because it has hardly anything. So you know how we got there was we're gonna go to threshold 250, right? And then we're gonna play with the radius until you can't really see your face, right? So something like that. You can't really see your face, right? And then we're gonna go down and 13. So like we're gonna do that 13 again. This will vary depending on your image. So okay, we're gonna hit okay. Then we go to D, bring back we're gonna bring back the texture. This is just the original image that we brought in, remember? So then we're gonna bring back the image, and then we're gonna go back, we're gonna go to filter, and then we're gonna go other high pass, right? We're gonna go high pass. And basically what we're trying to do is we're just trying to get the detail back. So this is way too much, that's way too much. We're trying to get the detail back. Just right where you can see the detail. Alright, I think that looks good. So the texture basically, you see this texture right here? That's what we're trying to get. So if you see in this, you see that texture right there. And again, remember, this image is not high res, so there's not a lot of information there. So this is great. Obviously, the image looks great. We're gonna change the blend mode. This is from normal. We're gonna go to soft light, or we're gonna go to hard light. We're gonna do hard light, right? To keep a little bit of that texture in there. You could do soft light or hard light. Soft light does it a little softer. Hard light with the texture, talking about the texture, it does the texture a little softer. The hard light does the texture a little harder. Obviously, hard, soft. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna select both layers by holding Command. So if you hold Command or whatever PC is, because I don't really use PC. You hold Command, you select, and then both of them are highlighted. Then you hit Command G to group them again. So Command G, and we're grouping them, right? Boom. So you want to keep this one open. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a layer mask, right? We're gonna add a mask by holding Option and clicking this little button right here, this little icon. It's layer mask. What you're gonna do is you're gonna create an inverted layer mask. So it's gonna turn off. Basically, it's gonna turn off the layer. Boom, right? So you see it went back to our image because it technically it's not there anymore. We want to have white color, a white brush. We're gonna go B for brush, right? B for brush, and we want to have is a white brush. Now, if it's not white, you can hit X, and it'll go white and black. It'll give you a white and black brush right here. This thing will change right here, white and black. So if I had it at red, okay, right now because we're in a mask, it looks great. But if you see that gray, if you hit X and you hit D will make it white and black. So just hit D and it'll make it a white black brush, and then you can go back and forth with the X. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a opacity of around 50 for this brush, and we're gonna just paint all over her forehead. And again, only the areas, we're gonna paint all over her forehead, and again, only the areas that shouldn't have texture, right? So okay, so this is what our image looks like now. So as you can tell, she still has texture. She still looks good. She doesn't look that fake. It looks like they just did a good makeup job on her. Another thing that you can do is dodge and burn, which is gonna create more of a 3D effect. So as you can tell, look right here, just to create these little highlights. Girls or whoever uses contour, I think it's kind of the same thing as contour in real life makeup, you know, to define. And then the burn, what it allows you to do is to bring out like the shadows and stuff, to darken the shadows, so it adds a little bit more contrast, adds a little bit more detail there. So as you can tell, we did some in her cheeks. Now we're doing some in her nose to add that in her neck, adding a little bit of definition in her neck, just a little tiny, just a little bit, just to make it look a little natural. You can also, so we'll put some on her clavicle, some highlights. We can also do it to her chest, so it doesn't look so we can bring out her chest a little bit more. So that has been my process of retouching an image. I hope you guys learned something, and if you didn't, if you guys still have questions, make sure you write them in the comment section below, and I'll keep making these kind of videos as much as possible to teach you as much as possible. If you have any specific questions, let me know. I'm gonna make more videos like this, and I can actually answer those questions in future videos. Also, if I missed out on something, maybe you have a tip or a trick that you do in your retouching process, make sure you write it in the comment section below, and then next time I can incorporate it, and of course I'll give you guys credit for it as well. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys subscribe, write your comments in the section below, like my video. I guess the algorithm works through likes or something like that, so make sure you like my video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday for Just the Tip Tuesdays. Peace.